pressure doesn't always look like struggle. Sometimes it looks like a smile, a perfect grade, or a winning goal. But underneath, it's shaping how we see ourselves. They see the jersey, the stats, the celebration after the win, but not the early alarms, the late night homework, the pressure to lead, to perform, to be perfect. We keep going, even when our bodies ache and our minds beg for rest. And most of the time, it's quiet. No one yells it, no one names it, but it's there. For student athletes, the pressure isn't just a part of the game. It is the game. My name is Batdorf, and I want to change the game. I've lived this pressure, and I know I'm not the only one. I've created this documentary to tell a story that isn't often told. A story not just about sports, but about identity. Because the deeper I went, the more I found myself asking one thing. How does quiet pressure affect who we are?
Quiet pressure means a lot of things, I think. I think definitely, obviously, if you take it in terms as quiet, it's hard to fully feel that pressure. But I think in crucial moments, that quiet, I think, almost becomes loud pressure, and you feel that arise. That being a part of a team, you want to do what's best for everyone, and you want to not be able to let them down and also be able to do your best at all times. And you definitely feel a lot of pressure there. But then also being able to be a student athlete, it's hard to manage both school and sports.
Quiet pressure is unnecessary pressure. It's the pressure that often isn't important in the long term, but sometimes eats at me short term. It's when sometimes it seems like it's the easiest to deal with, but often the most hard to handle.
Listening to Matthew, I realized how we often hold pressure in silence. We don't talk about the tension between vulnerability and control because showing either can feel like weakness. But that conflict, the invisible tug of war, is where many of us live every day.
Really, the reason you're doing things should be because you want to do them, not because it's the expectation to do them.
When I injured my knee, it felt like more than just an injury. I felt like I lost a part of who I was. Without soccer, I wasn't quite sure where I belonged. I spent years tying my worth to how fast I could run, how many minutes I played, and how much I could handle.
I was terrified of being still, but it was in that stillness that I started asking the harder questions. Who am I without soccer? What do I believe about myself when no one else is watching?
I couldn't tell you how many times I felt burnt out, even here, even at Marin Catholic, even in college. Like being burnt out in, I'll say, in high school is nothing compared to college. It's like a different type of mentality because you're alone in college. Like the only person that can hold yourself accountable in college is you. So you have to kind of push yourself because you don't have your mom, you don't have your dad, you don't have anybody there to really help you. So I would definitely say, you have to embrace it.
Many kids, when they play sports, they take that on as their identity. Who I am is this player of this sport. And when an injury happens, all of a sudden, there's an identity crisis. Like, as I can't play this sport anymore, so I can't necessarily be me. And then I have to face the reality of, wait, there's more to me than just this, but I don't know what that is. Faith has allowed them to kind of be able to weather that storm and then see that, there's more to them than just the sport they play. You don't want to put everything into this sport as that's who you are. I mean, who you are as a child of God, and there is so much more, even though it may seem like this is everything. Like, I have to get this, and this is more important than anything else.
There's all kinds of influences on kids, on what they're called to be. And I think a lot of them, particularly through social media, create an unrealistic expectation of what beauty is, of what strength is, of what smart is, of what popular is, all of those things. And so I think kids are quite often trying to keep up with a model or a culture that isn't even real. It's a digital one, and it's an image and performative driven one. So it's not real. So the quiet pressure comes from an abundance of opportunity and options and trying to hit a high level. I want kids to begin and end their experience here at Marin Catholic to know that they are loved, that they are seen. That has nothing to do with what they do. It just has to do with who they are. That is at the essence of the gospel message. It's not what you do, it's who you are. And so that should always come first. So you don't have to keep trying to prove yourself to other people all the time. God knows your heart. God knows who you are.
As expectations piled up, school, sports, friendship, future, it wasn't just about being good at everything. It was about proving that I belonged. But Mr. Valdez reminds us, our value was never earned. We are loved just the way we are.
I am the vine, you are the branches. What that for me is like, that was my conversion verse, to understand that this is not about me. Like, it's all about him. It's all about him. I'm just a tool for him. So I'm just a little branch, and I hope to make some fruit, but he's source, and I'm just a branch. And that really kind of makes me it just takes the pressure off of me. That's what I want, is kids to take the pressure off me.
My interest in sports psychology came from my experience as a player. So when I played soccer growing up, I didn't know it at the time, but I wish I had had a mental performance coach to help me playing. I felt a lot of pressure as a player. I got really nervous before games, and it affected my confidence and ultimately affected my performance when I played. And that led me to leaving the game and then getting back into it as a coach. I would say a big game changer is just bringing awareness to what you're telling yourself and what's going on in your mind, and understanding that if what you're saying to yourself isn't helping or is making you more nervous, that there is an alternative way to think.
Alexa's story shows us how pressure can linger long after we leave the game. I wanted to hear that from someone who's faced pressure on the biggest of stages, from high school fields to NFL stadiums. So I reached out to Jared Goff, a Marin Catholic alumni and the starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions NFL team. I wanted to learn how he navigated quiet pressure throughout his career and how his perspective changed along the way.
Yeah, it's the pressure you put on yourself, probably. You know, it's the internal pressure that typically is coming from some external or things that are eating at you from the inside, you know, internally or externally, people talking to you. But typically the quiet pressure is the stuff you're putting on yourself. And in order to find a way around that, you gotta really find out what matters to you, and learn that you know, winning or losing a game isn't the end of the world. So try to enjoy it and don't make it such a big deal. I think, you know, the hard stuff end up being the greatest thing for you. And you know, it's in my career now and in life, it's something that's taught me a ton. And being able to come out the other side a better person, a better husband, son, the whole thing, and it's allowed me to, you know, grow a lot. And I think when you're in the midst of those struggles, it is hard, and you want out of it. You want to get out of it as soon as possible. But knowing that you're in it for a reason and that you're going to come out the other side better than you were before, it's a powerful thing.
Quiet pressure doesn't just weigh us down. It shapes how we define ourselves. It whispers that our worth comes from doing more, winning more, being more. But the truth is, we're already enough. We're not just athletes, we're not just students, we're humans. And maybe that is more than enough. So maybe the pressure won't disappear, but maybe that we can stop pretending that it isn't there. Maybe we can name it, share it, carry it together, because quiet pressure doesn't have to stay quiet.